Good morning. This is Erica from In the Company of Cards. I know that I said I wouldn't be on today, but I'm leaving for the airport in like an hour. But I didn't want to not come on. Um, Here's what I want to say. I know I made a statement, written statement on here um, last night, so you can certainly go read that. Um, Here's what I want to say. Um, I'm part of a community of readers around the world who saw what we saw. Um, we didn't lie. We didn't make it up. We didn't tell you what you wanted to hear. You saw us pull the cards. Most of us do that. We show you as we pull. So, you know, like you, all of us are saying, what happened? What happened? I think that um, this is grand scale PTSD, but I want to say some other things. There was a one person uh, in this work who was correct. They said that Trump would win. And they have a philosophy in their work, which is that they think that this whole, existence, right, is one big, we call those things simulation game. And this person does not vote. They're not an American, but they don't vote in their country either. And they say that they're neutral. I find that a little bit hard to believe, except maybe not so much. I think if you think of this as a simulation game, and you say you're neutral, then what you must do is sort of remove yourself from the rest of us, sit at the right hand of God, and watch all the action. And then you see everything, and everything you say, by and large, will be accurate. This is an astrologer I'm talking about. And I think that one of the differences between the way this person works and the way that the rest of us work, those of us whom you've trusted and believed in and counted on, is that if it is a simulation game, we're right in there with you. And that when we ask our cards questions, our cards give us a trajectory. And you know how I would always say, well, if you don't like it, I show you a trajectory, change it. And I guess the thing is that a lot of people did like the negative trajectory. I mean, we have graphs of who voted how. Um, you know, Overwhelming numbers of white men voted red. Even more white women voted red than did, yeah, when he won in 2016. 20% of black men voted red. I don't remember the percentage of Latinos, but uh, quite quite a percentage voted red. Now, you can look for the statistics yourself, but the statistics are broken down. 92% of Black women voted blue. And what I have said throughout this whole process is, and I've written this in my Substack, however it went, I said, it would be win-win. Why? Either it would go blue and we would decide that we want to be uh, part of the creation of a more perfect union, or it would go red and we would show ourselves for who we are. I mentioned the play a couple of videos ago called The Crucible, which is by Arthur Miller, and it's around the witch trials of Salem. And he was writing in the 50s, and he was warning about the events around uh, Joseph McCarthy and his communist accusations of everyone. And anyway, this farmer in 1692 in this play is just horrified that everybody's being accused of being a witch, including him. And he says, "We are as we always were, only naked now." And I feel like that today. We are as we always were. This is who America is. It was founded by people who didn't really ever mean for people like me to have the vote. Just saying. Um, and when I think about the Latino men or Hispanic men who voted, and women who voted red, and when I think of the 20% of Black men who voted red, we ask ourselves, well, why would you vote against your interests? He's made very clear what he thinks of you. Oh, I mean, I think it's the Clarence Thomas effect. You know, they want to believe that, oh, he surely doesn't mean them. Surely he doesn't mean them. Um, Misogyny was at work. I have a theory about that in regard to Black men. I think that this country's greatest wound is slavery and our failure to reckon with it. Abraham Lincoln was a great guy, but he should have held the South accountable, and he didn't. Uh, and so um, it's something that's never been dealt with. But I will say that, one of the, I'm sure, deep pains of Black men, and I was married to a Black man for 20 years. I have brothers who are Black. And I suspect that one of the great pains of Black men is the fact that they were unable to protect their women during those times. I think it's an epigenetic wound. And I think that the wound metastasized into misogyny. You can't protect us. So you felt what, emasculated by that? And instead of blaming who you should blame for that, you blame us. And so you won't vote for her. It's a deep wound. The wound of race in this country and misogyny is deep. And I I think all of us readers who saw it wrong, and by the way, I think there was some funny business, Russian funny business with bomb threats and misinformation and all of that, votes not counted, etc. But um, you know, all of that said, I think that we readers came from a place of that hope for a more perfect union. And we saw a possibility, a trajectory that did exist. It existed. The electorate, with a little help from Russia and Musk and his millions, chose another way. All I can say is what others of us have said. We are gutted. I cried all night, gutted, disappointed. But I will say, in my case, I'm not going to go so far as to say I'm surprised. You know what they say, hope for the best and expect the worst. This was not wishful thinking, what we showed you. You saw us pull the cards. But, you know, physics says for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. I think evil last night was that equal and opposite reaction. And I think evil won. I don't think it necessarily won for all time, but it won. This is this is literally what happened in Nazi Germany. Good people voted for him, for Hitler. So for those of you who want to unsubscribe because you think I'm pulled the wool over your eyes, I wish you well. I send you my blessings in your lives, and I wish you every good thing, like I always did. If you want to spew vitriol, um, I'll read it and then I'll delete it, but I'll read it. And for the rest of you, if you'd like to stay, I hope you'll stay. Um, like a lot of us were saying, we don't know what the directions of our channels will be. But I think that if there is a resistance to be had, I want to be part of it. Um, and, the best way I know how to do that is with my words and with my cards. And I do believe that all will be well. I think that part of what we all thought was that we had the lesson of 2016 and the subsequent years. So surely we wouldn't want that again. And I think, Pluto, and I'm no astrologer, as you know, Pluto, which is the planet of change, is doing its thing, destruction. If we don't get the lesson one way, we'll get it another. And if we don't want to learn it ourselves, if we don't take the hint, the lesson will be harder and stronger. I had hoped, and I think that my brothers and sisters in the reading community had hoped that that lesson that we had was enough, but it's not. Um, I think in the fullness of time, all will be well, but I think that this will be a hard slog these next 4 years. I think civilizations rise and civilizations fall. And what we could be we well could be witnessing is the fall of America as the world knew it. As a friend of mine wrote this morning, it was really good, but she doesn't want it out because she doesn't want to be trolled. But she said, Russia took the mask off. Israel's taken the mask off. Why should we not take the mask off? We are as we always were, only naked now. For me, the good news in that is we don't have to pretend. We are exactly what that election showed us we were. This means very bad things for Ukraine, for the Middle East, for the Palestinians. Russia absolutely owns 45. Musk owns 45. So I think, I hope we all manage to live our best lives. I hope some of us will be part of the resistance Um, darkness spends the night, and it did. Joy comes in the morning in the fullness of time, and that's not today, and that's not tomorrow, and it's probably not next week or next year or the next 4 years. But if you'd like to um, be part of this community, I hope that you'll stay. I understand if you go, and I'm saying from the bottom of my heart, I and all of the other readers that you've trusted saw what we saw, and we're as sorry as you that it was not the path this country took. So I'm going to go zip up my suitcase and pack my coat because I'm going from sunny San Diego to cold Toronto. And I'll see you, those of you who stay, I'll see you from there. Take care.